Pinata. Oh, I did it before you. I'm sorry.
Welcome to Lost Pinata. We are today doing a quick talk about repurposing the world for your artistic endeavors. Is that right?
My suggestion was that we take a actual like event in the news and then we recontextualize or reimagine it in a creative way.
Oh, I thought that we were talking about doing that, not actually doing that.
Oh, we could do it. Yeah, sure. Well, what is that? Okay, because I think this is we already misunderstand what we're thinking. So what does that? Okay, what does that look like?
Right.
What are
Like,
you thinking?
like a special victims unit or, Law and Order special victims unit. Like,
Oh, like a TV show,
yeah,
having
like
a
where
TV show.
we were just working with on Heroic Origins. We were looking at using a headline from the news as part of our brainstorming process. And in that, we came up, I think the first one was like, what happened to Ted Turner? And then the second one that we found was, failure is not an option. And we used that one. But we just I felt that was implied with what we did. But
So we're literally ripping. We have stories ripped from the headlines. Is
right,
what we're.
right. And that's
So
more.
what does that mean? What does
Yeah.
that mean? And what responsibility does the artist have to representing those headlines in a truthful way?
Right, because like with Law and Order, they make it very clear this isn't real, but it's based on things that are from.
But what isn't based on real stuff? I mean, everything to some degree is. I mean, there's certain, even if you get into sci-fi or fantasy, like emotionally, it's based on real stuff. So, I mean, what actually? It's a question. What does it mean to be based on something? Real?
I think a big part of it is like make it different enough that you're not going to get sued by the people that are involved in it. That's
Okay.
That's a big concern is that people are going to say, you made a story about, the trauma of my life and you're making money off of it. And
did you hear about, this is a rabbit hole. Okay. In Deadpool, they had a character named Nice Pool.
Yes.
Who is rumored to be a parody of this person that Blake Lively is having an illegal suit with because of a film they did together. And it's the director. What's his name? Is it Baldini or something?
I'd have to look up his name. But yeah, I saw that. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, Justin Baldoni, it looks like.
And he just doesn't, I don't know. It's kind of like, I'm a really huge douche and they made a character about me. It's kind of what that comes off as.
This is actually kind of interesting. If you take, because this is something that let's take it to Star Trek. You remember they used to have the Ferengi, right?
Right.
And they were, they were very commercialized. They were always trying to cut. They were stingy. What it is basically they took all the old Jewish stereotypes, but they detached it from, so this is kind of an interesting question. If you take all the bad things that, you may have associated, I mean, if you take away that context, is it suddenly okay? Is that a reasonable way to explore, or is that just subtle racism or anti-Semitism or something like that? Is this getting too deep?
Well, that's a whole other question from where we started.
You're right. That's an example of.
Yeah. But that is, because that is a good question though. If you take away if you just change the names and you do the exact same thing or not the exact same thing, you exaggerate things about, it's like if I do a biopic about a singer who does the spacewalk instead of the moonwalk, and his hair catches on fire during a commercial, and he wears like 2 golden gloves or something.
For all of you youngsters out there, that was
that's
Michael Jackson he's referring to. Well, yeah. So that's sort of what can you take without it? Yeah, being Yeah, but yeah, Justin Baldoni is going to ask. I don't know. He's trying to sue them over that depiction in the.
Yeah.
But that's one where it's like,
well, see, but that's the thing. It's like if I did that fake Michael Jackson character basically, and then made him a raging pedophile, because those were accusations, and then am I, how much, I guess, what's my responsibility in that? Like I've made, because I'm blatantly making a parody of this person who's a real person and making them a criminal.
now legally you can do that. You can do parodies. That's
Right,
actually
right.
okay. But morally, or more specifically, when it comes to artistic expression, what's the most authentic thing to do, I guess.
Well, I
I
guess
don't know. I think that's pretty fair.
just to be sensational, I guess. And I mean, maybe that's some people's art actually. And so it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say, oh, you shouldn't do that.
I think it's totally fair to do that. I don't know. I think creative reimaginings of the world, and I mean, creating metaphors, basically. I think there is some power in taking certain aspects of real life and reimagining in a different context. I think that's totally legit.
And I think you're right. In the storytelling sense, it's really good to use real life as a touchstone for creating your metaphors that people, I mean, this is what, Buddhists, like the Buddha, like stories from the ages were based upon, was just, we're going to take this thing that's happening and I'm going to tell you a story about it that gets the metaphor of the deeper meaning across. And it's that storytelling, I guess, kind of 101. Like that's how you hook your audiences sometimes, very often. So
yeah.
But, well, I think that's a good way to wrap up this episode of Las Piñata.
Las Piñata, get lost, beat it.